plus free education bundles za Shupavu 291 na KICD. What?
Ni ukweli, bei ya Neon Ray Pro sasa ni 3,999 pekee. Pata smartphone ya nguvu kwa bei nafuu kutoka kwa duka la Safaricom au dila leo. Safaricom, for you.
From your first day at school to you captaining your soccer team, no matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. That's why I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay, so it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
You can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
Be it all. Let me see you make your move. Do it all, do it all, do it all. But on those days, I compromise it all. Either my skin is sensitive or my back's against the wall.
You can have it all.
What?
Always brings it all.
Okay.
Get it all with new Always 2-in-1. Feather-like softness overall, even on the wings, girl. And rapid dry channels.
Let me see you make a move. Be it all, do it all, have it all.
Always, we are the generation of change.
Enjoy Good Life new shopping experience. Seek and you shall find. Visit www.goodlife.co.ke to shop. Search and pick your preferred product. Check out and give your location details. Pick your payment method and wait for your delivery to arrive. It's quick. Click and pick.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongeze zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Ndio vile nitaongea na kila mmoja wao. Mwaka sasa. Unajua leo ndio siku yangu ya kutafutia hii mmea yangu bei nzuri sokoni. Na kuna mtu nimepewa namba yake nimpigie nimuelezee pole pole. Ndio unajua na mama wengi sana huko sokoni. Ni ofa gani mzuri leo?
Very good. Piga *444# utunukiwe Credo double.
Sio kwangu, rudi
soon.
Royal Mabati offers cost-effective, weather-resistant quality sheets. Get gauge 28 at 670 Kenya shillings, gauge 30 at 370, gauge 30 met at 530, Royal Alu Zinc at 280 Kenya shillings. Buy today and lipa pole pole with a guaranteed delivery countrywide, located along Mombasa Road, Mlolongo, and at different branches in different towns. Call us today on 0722 638383. Royal Mabati Factory Limited. We are the best. New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
This is NTV.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Tonight is the 14th day of February 2021 and the streets were today painted red as lovers showcased their loves amongst each other, and we'll be taking a look at exactly how that day was spent among people across the capital. But we have other stories making headlines across the country. Here are the highlights.
Tonight, a broken and bruised marriage.
Hawa watu wote hawa ambao tunasikia siku hizi wanajaribu kuwa marafiki wa rais, lakini siku ile rais alikuwa anawahitaji hawa watu, si ndio walikuwa wapinzani wetu? Si ndio walikuwa wanasema hatufai? Si ndio walikuwa wanasema tuko wahalifu kwa sababu tulikuwa na kesi ya hate? Sasa si Waswahili wanasema akufaae kwa dhiki ndiye rafiki.
The thriving new courtships. And someone new in the picture.
Ready today to say, let me be the change that I desire for my country.
It's a day in politics. And speaking of marriage,
there was an automatic connection that led me to say, hey, can we exchange greetings?
This couple is in it for the long haul.
Kingdom.
A story of love and life on Valentine's Day. Plus, Valentine's Day pain.
This will give rise to price increase in so many goods, and life will become more unbearable to the common wananchi.
Fuel prices rise and hope for better days for Kenyans falls. And also tonight, the youth in Samburu are scaling up their business ventures, but not everyone is feeling it.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
And thank you for joining us. On the sign language interpretation is David Agondoy. And in fact, my director is telling me that the men's conference has just ended. So that was competing with the Valentine's Day today. But let's begin with a review of the fuel prices, and that threatens more pain for motorists as they have to part with a lot more for the commodity to cut the greatest jump in costs yet at 8 shillings and 19 cents for petrol in the latest review of retail pump prices. Diesel and kerosene prices have also soared by 5 shillings and 51 cents and 5 shillings and 32 cents respectively. A litre of petrol in Nairobi is now expected to cost 115 shillings and 18 cents, while diesel and kerosene will retail at 101 shillings and 91 cents and 92 shillings and 44 cents respectively. Now, according to the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the changes in prices are a consequence of a rise in the landed cost of petroleum imports in the last 1 month. The regulator says the cost of landed petrol has gone up by 20.9%, diesel by 13.6% and kerosene by 14.6%. And international crude oil prices have been on the rise following a resumption in demand for the commodity after the reopening of the bulk of world economies following the initial pandemic hit. And here are some sentiments from a section of residents in the capital here in Nairobi in reaction to the rise in fuel prices. Take a look.
Shida ni kwetu sisi kama dereva na makanga tunaumia juu. Abiria anabeba the same price ni the same. So mafuta ikipanda itakuwa ni shida kwetu. So najua abiria wakasana hawezi lipa more than 100.
Vile nimesikia itapanda na around 8 bob. Hata vile nilikuwa nimejipanga pia kubaia mtu wangu mambo na maua ya hii Valentine, hata nimedungia ka red jo. Hiyo story imeniudhi tu sana. So mimi chenye naomba gava kama inaweza tushukisha hii fuel.
As we feel the pinch, because we know this will spiral into so many effects in the economy, transport will go up, prices of goods will increase. So there must be other reasons why this thing is happening like the way it is. So for common mwananchi, it's not any better for us. We'll expect life to be more difficult, and we don't see why the government added more percentage on it.
Ikiongezwa mafuta na hiyo shilingi 8, inabidi pia fare inaendelea kuongezeka, hakuna vile itaanguka. Juu hii gari ni 100 saa hii. So ni kumaanisha hata kesho nikikuja hata saa 8 ile vile nafaa kulipa 50 bob ndalipa tu 100. Inani affect. So nikilipa 100 kuenda na 100 kurudi bado inaniumiza kama abiria. Mafuta irudishwe chini.
Well, talk to us as well about how you feel on the increase in fuel prices on our social media platforms at NTV Kenya at Zainab Ismail. The hashtag tonight is NTV Weekend Edition. To politics now. And Deputy President William Ruto has told President Kenyatta it won't be that easy to get rid of him, saying he was invested in the Jubilee government. Ruto spoke in Nyandarua, says President Kenyatta's new friends are not as loyal as he has been. And to his senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi with more.
Deputy President William Ruto has made it clear he is not about to walk out of the troubled marriage with President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying he was part of the journey from the start. DP Ruto says he has been a loyal lieutenant since the beginning, accusing ODM leader Raila Odinga and his brigade of spoiling the party.
Hawa watu wote hawa ambao tunasikia siku hizi wanajaribu kuwa marafiki wa rais. Lakini siku ile rais alikuwa anawahitaji hawa watu. Si ndio walikuwa wapinzani wetu? Si ndio walikuwa wanasema hatufai? Si ndio walikuwa wanasema tuko wahalifu kwa sababu tulikuwa na kesi ya Hague? Sasa si Waswahili wanasema akufaae kwa dhiki ndiye rafiki.
Ruto also answering those that have picked the cue from the president, asking him to leave the Jubilee stable.
Hii nyasi ya ng'ombe ya Jubilee ni Uhuru Kenyatta alitafuta na mimi nikimsaidia. Ama namna gani? Ama hamkuniona nikitafuta? Muliniona tukitafuta hii serikali ya Jubilee? Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa na nani? Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa na nani? Muliona mtu ya kitendawili? Muliona ule wa katikati? Na ule wa Mululu muliona? Na ule alienda kustaki bibi yake hati alimpiga mulimuona?
According to DP Ruto, the president has veered off the development agenda with the ongoing BBI talk, but is hopeful they will soon get back on track.
Big Four, ambayo sasa ndio awamu ya pili ya serikali ya Jubilee, ndio hiyo tunasukuma saa hizi. Kidogo imechelewa kwa sababu tuko na kazi hii ya kubadilisha katiba.
Speaking in Nyandarua County, the DP made his case of how, together with President Kenyatta, they conceptualized the development being witnessed now.
Mimi na Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta tulikubaliana vile ya kuweka msingi, na tulikubaliana ya kwamba ili tuweze kupata mambo ya maendeleo yatembee kwa njia ya kasi, lazima kwanza tuweke foundation.
Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
Well, ODM leader Raila Odinga told the deputy president to stop hanging on to a broken marriage. Raila, who was on a BBI popularization tour in Narok, said the DP had abdicated his duties as the president's principal assistant and was instead focused on his 2022 presidential campaigns.
With the clock ticking towards June, when a referendum to change the constitution is expected to be held, its proponents are on an overdrive seeking support from Kenyans. Today, ODM leader Raila Odinga was in Narok, accompanied by his brigade and Maasai community leaders to sell the BBI gospel. At his Meet the People tours, Odinga hit out at Deputy President William Ruto, whom he accused of slowing down the government agenda. According to Odinga, President Kenyatta has been unable to make strides in moving the country forward, owing to Ruto's incessant campaigns.
Simusikia Rais Uhuru akisema ati hawezi kuacha utawala kwa wezi. Simusikia hiyo? Si Uhuru ndio rais akisema namna hiyo. Wewe unajua kitu gani ndani yake kushinda yeye? Kuna yeye kitu unajua kumshinda yeye?
Odinga, who called on the residents to support the push for constitutional changes, also asked the residents to shun politics driven by Ruto, arguing they were divisive and only served to advance his self-interests. He also called on members of the county assemblies to hasten and pass the BBI bill for it to move to the next stage and eventually a vote in June.
Sasa wamebadilisha ngoma, wanatuambia maneno ya wheelbarrow. Na maneno ya wheelbarrownomics katika mambo ya labor imekataliwa na ILO.
Hatuhitaji nini? Wheelbarrow, kuja kwanza muombe msamaha kwa vile mmetufanyia. Mlifanya mambo mbaya, mtu anakuja anasema watu wasitoke Mount tukufe, tukwishe. Baba alifanya akatengeneza, Uhuru akatengeneza, Rubika akatengeneza, wengine watapewa.
Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
Well, meanwhile, former United Nations Conference on Trade and Development UNCTAD Secretary General Mukhesa Kitui now says he's the breath of fresh air that the country badly needs if elected president. Kitui says he will first seek the blessing of his Luhya community before he tours the rest of the country to popularize his presidential bid.
He kept time for every appointment he had for the day. From when he landed at 8 o'clock Sunday morning, to a press conference he had at the airport, to a church service where he was a guest, to a press conference he had in the afternoon, everything was meticulously planned. In his speeches, the former minister, who has been out of the country on international assignment for the last 7.5 years, believes he is the best bet for the country's top job.
You cannot crave serious change in your society if you are not ready to be the change that you desire.
Kitui wants to bank on his international connections and experience at the United Nations to turn around the country's fortunes, which he says are dwindling.
In some regions of the world, they ask me why you are stepping down from a very influential job. In Kenya, they ask me why I'm stepping down from a very lucrative job.
Kitui is of the view that the country's state of politics needed to change, and he was the man to steer the country in the right direction.
I was not looking to be a paramount chief of the Luhya. I'm seeking a national mandate to be president of Kenya.
The former member of parliament and minister in President Kibaki's cabinet, however, notes that he would first seek blessings from his Luhya community before he sets out on a countrywide tour to popularize his presidential bid. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
All right, let's switch focus to regional matters now. And with the Kenya-Somalia diplomatic row still stewing, the fate of AMISOM troops fighting Al-Shabaab militia will be determined next week during a United Nations Security Council meeting that will discuss AMISOM's scheduled pullout from Somalia. NTV's Seth Olale also reports that Somalia's opposition council that includes former presidents will tomorrow hold a crisis meeting to discuss the rescheduling of the presidential elections calendar following the February 8th botched polls.
NTV can authoritatively confirm that the United Nations Security Council will extend AMISOM's peacekeeping mandate in Somalia until December 2021. The official resolution that will be passed by the top global security organization will be made on the 22nd of February, and it gives AMISOM an 8-month window to wind down military operations in Somalia. Kenya has 4,000 KDF troops active in Somalia's Jubaland and directly tasked with neutralizing the Al-Shabaab insurgency. Security experts had warned of a serious security lapse in both Mogadishu and the East African region should Kenya's defense forces pull out owing to the current diplomatic row between the two neighboring countries.
Somalia and Eritrea as two countries should just basically be called to order by the international community to make sure that Somalia is stabilized. Otherwise, said, Al-Shabaab is going to take much more control of Somali affairs. And this is not going to bode well with Kenya, which has suffered many terrorist attacks from Somalia.
The security situation in Somalia is being complicated by the delayed presidential election that was scheduled to take place on 8th February. The opposition council, being headed by former President Sheikh Sharif Ahmed, has already termed Mohamed Farmajo's administration illegitimate, claiming its mandate officially ended last week. The council, that also include former President Hassan Sheikh, will on Monday hold a crisis meeting with all presidential aspirants, including incumbent Mohamed Farmajo, to discuss, among other issues, the new calendar for the presidential elections.
And we do pray for that outcome, where the federal member states and Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo are going to accept to agree to hold elections within a very short time, based on the advice of the international community, the United Nations, the EU, Africa Union, and IGAD. And that will help Somalia move away from the current uncertainties that are bedeviling the country.
Experts are of the view that, apart from claims from President Mohamed Farmajo that Kenya was meddling in its internal affairs, the ongoing maritime dispute was also being deliberately instigated to attain popularity nationally. Seth Olale, NTV.
All right, thanks, Seth, for that report. Well, today, the number of COVID-19 cases has risen to 102,867 in the country after 75 more people tested positive to the disease out of a sample size of 3,025 tested in the last 24 hours. No new death had been recorded, which means the country's death toll stands at 1,795. At the same time, 56 patients have recovered from the disease, 37 from the home-based isolation and care, while 19 are from various health facilities. The total recoveries now stand at 85,008. Meanwhile, there are 347 patients currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,275 patients are on home-based isolation and care. 33 patients are in the intensive care unit. And on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll be back.
Fast just got faster. Get fully locked on Airtel 4G. Now wider coverage to download, stream and browse at high speed. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The University Council, Management and Senate of University of Eldoret cordially invites all students and the public to the 8th Congregation of the Award of Diplomas and Conferment of Degrees by the Chancellor Ambassador Professor Judith Mbula Bahemuka. The ceremony will be virtually streamed live on our Facebook at University of Eldoret and on University of Eldoret YouTube channels on Friday, March 12, 2021 from 9 a.m. at the University New Site Building, Main Campus, Eldoret. University of Eldoret, flame of knowledge and innovation.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night. Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against
COVID-19. Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
mdosi wako kwa sawa.
Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hey, guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay, so it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
You can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
I won't deny that just for a moment I thought that, well, it would be a good idea for my dad to be happy again next to someone.
So that woman can send you to a boarding school, huh, Fernanda? Would you like that?
And then I don't know, have other children with your father? Just imagine that. It means you'll have to share absolutely everything you have with those new children.
If you want to do her a favor, tell her not to meddle in other people's business, okay?
I could never dare to tell her that. I'd practically be giving myself away to her.
Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, when you think of blood or donating blood, what really comes to your mind? Well, you see, a pint of blood saves more than a life. This is because the blood can be separated into 4 different life-saving components that can be transfused to patients with different needs. One of these crucial pieces is plasma, the largest component of blood, and that is critical to treating many serious health problems. Eunice Omolo explains.
Patricia Karani has lived with hereditary angioedema for a while now. It is a rare condition that causes frequent attacks on the body, causing swellings in different parts of the body.
My grandmother had it. My grandmother, that is my dad's mother. And then it came down to my dad. And then in my family of 6 children, 3 of them have it, 2 boys, and I'm the only girl who has it. It can occur anywhere on my body, like literally anywhere. My back, my neck, on the laryngeal, whatever, the laryngeal tract, inside my stomach, in my legs, in my hands, you know, and that is basically a swelling that is progressive. Then if you don't have the right medications to manage the trigger or to prevent the trigger, then you have a whole 5 days of swelling. And the next thing he told me, it has no cure. You just have to manage the condition.
Hereditary angioedema is managed through treatment with medicine derived from plasma or by frozen fresh plasma obtained from blood.
They take a concentration of C1 inhibitor from somebody's plasma, and that concentration is what we inject in our body when we have an emergency.
The body produces, an abnormal or dangerous protein within the plasma, and this can cause neurological complications such as Guillain-Barré syndrome, or the abnormal protein can cause a life-threatening change in the blood, as happens in thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura. And in those cases, you want to remove pretty much the whole body plasma and replace it with exogenous plasma. That's plasma that's been donated by somebody else.
At the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Center in Nairobi, blood is processed and separated into 4 different products. Plasma is the clear straw-colored liquid portion of blood that remains after red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and other cellular components are removed. It is the single largest component of human blood, comprising about 55% of blood, and contains water, salts, enzymes, antibodies, and other proteins.
Since the school resumed, we have already started to go to schools. Last Saturday we were at Buruburu Girls, and we managed to collect 90 units of blood.
The cost of processing and testing blood before it is transfused has been a challenge and carried over to the cost of transfusion and the components of blood.
Each blood donation we receive undergoes testing for hepatitis B and C, HIV, malaria, syphilis, right? And if we had the ability to batch test them, we would take 20 units through one HIV test, okay? And that makes it a lot cheaper than doing the individual test.
Kenya's blood banks have been running half empty, and COVID-19 made the situation worse when learning institutions were closed in 2020.
Yeah, when you donate 1 pint of blood, we can make it to about 4 products or 4 type of products from it. One of the products is fresh frozen plasma. We can also make packed red cells. We can make cryoprecipitate, and we can make packed red cells.
So if you have the heart to donate blood, it is not just blood to give, you know, like a blood transfusion. There are people who actually use products from that blood.
Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.
A very interesting piece of information there by our very own Eunice Omolo. Now, the last few decades have seen drastic change in weather patterns, forcing communities to make changes to the way they live. For pastoralists, living off livestock has become that much harder owing to the long drought cycles, and they've had to find ways to sustain themselves. Leila Mohammed brings us the story of how 2 communities in Samburu County are embracing the use of biogas as an alternative source of energy, and another engaging in fish farming to supplement their protein intake.
The hills of Wamba, Samburu County are startling in their majesty. But in the foreground, this group is hard at work, preparing the earth, laying pipes into the ground and covering them up. This is the start of a process that will see this family light their home and prepare their food using clean energy. This project hopes to not just light up homes like this one, but also traditional manatas, and encourage a switch from charcoal and firewood.
Unajua mara mingi vile tuko na shida ya kuni, unakata hata miti ndio upate makaa ama ndio upate kitu kingine. Kama samani ningepata hii gas wakati nilikuwa young. Washa niko sasa mbali. Lakini nimepata basi sasa nimeseeka.
But according to the Northern Rangelands Trust, it's never too late to bring in the change that also lessens the load on the women's backs.
They have plenty of cattle and goat manure, and so they have enough raw material for a biogas digester. We've then engaged the community to get their buyout, and they liked it. They liked the idea of alternative options because they realized that harvesting more wood in the forest is not sustainable.
So many people in Kenya still cook with wood, and even worse with charcoal. Is not only bad for the environment and for the climate, because the trees are very important for the CO2 absorption, but also it is very bad for the health of the individuals who are standing in the smoke.
With homes here jumping onto the clean energy bandwagon, they hope the quality of their lives will significantly improve along with the environment. In another part of Samburu County in Maralal, 2 ponds are tucked in the middle of a budding town. Hassan Ali spends most of his days here taking care of the fish.
Wakaaji wa Maralal wanapenda samaki lakini hawapati samaki. So nika decide kwa hii mahali kidogo niko naye nijaribu kuweka samaki.
Just like any other venture, this one comes with its set of challenges, but they would still pick the fish business over others.
Tuliangalia durability, yani ile kazi ya mbuzi na ng'ombe na hizo ni afadhali samaki kuliko, kwa sababu kuchukua muda ukianza kuona by time ule nyasi kuna shida ya nyasi saa zingine, drought, ugonjwa, so samaki huwa haikuwa affected sana na ugonjwa.
In a community that primarily gets its protein from cattle, sheep and goats, changing their perspective on other sources of protein such as fish has been a tough task.
Samaki ni kama ndege. Sisi Samburu wachungaji akulangi. Sisi nakula nyama ya mbuzi, kondoo, ng'ombe, ngamia na wengine bubalos. Na afadhali hata punde afadhali. Lakini nini? Hii hapana. Watoto yangu na chakula lakini mimi hapana.
Ama samaki sinatoka ndani ya maji.
Ako na miguu.
Iko na miguu. Basi eleza sisi. Hata kama sisi nakufanga na njaa, sijui mwingine. Wacha kupe.
But the young men still cast their nets wider in search of opportunities, in spite of their community's tastes, preferences. Those who have embraced fish farming spend most of their time tending to the ponds and ensuring a clean environment for the fish to thrive. Underneath the grass, fairly sized tilapia are sourced for the waiting market, but the smaller ones get to live another day to keep the fish population here growing. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Well, thanks, Leila, for that report. Very, very insightful indeed. Now, it's been a day to celebrate love, and Maya Angelou once said, "Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles and leaps fences to arrive at its destination full of hope." Well, this is quite the life story of this couple from Bungoma that's been married for 46 years and shares the secrets of a long-haul union. But while the journey of love and marriage has been a joy for them, others have had to endure pain and trauma that led them to walk away. Gina Kirori explores both sides of the coin.
It's a special song, one that sparks fond memories as it speaks to the religious foundation that their marriage is built on. Reverend Canon Kisa and his wife Petronila Kisa are in sync in almost everything they do, which is no surprise as they have been together for the past 46 years. Like an old garden run to blossoming weeds, the impudent news springing from the venerable old every day still feels like the first time they met back in 1971.
Nilikutana na the love of my heart huko kijijini. Nilikuja kutembelea dada yao. Na sisi kama wasichana tuliitwa kuwakaribisha.
There was an automatic connection that led me to say, hey, can we exchange greetings?
The couple was blessed with 6 children, but 3 passed away. This has sometimes been a sour point in their marriage.
Sometime we lived like paupers because of supporting many people who lived with us.
The couple shares their secrets of their long haul in marriage, genuine love, commitment, and God at the center, something they believe the younger couples don't quite have a grasp of.
Social media, television marriages, ndio tunataka kuiga. But we are not ready to stand on the ground and walk our journey as a couple.
You will enjoy your marriage provided you know that the person you live with is a person that was chosen out of love.
Reverend Kisa adds that there is a lack of guidance from the church and community in uplifting the younger generation. As the world celebrates the International Day of Love, the Reverend has special plans in store for his high school sweetheart.
I've slaughtered a duck for her. And I'll prepare it myself.
Namsherehekea with a lot of softness of heart.
For Jennifer Washira, however, marriage was a constant pain in her back. Her relationship with someone she met in college started on a beautiful note, but things took a nasty turn after graduation.
My partner then became physical. Yeah, to a point where I remember one time that I was expectant. It was a 36 weeks pregnancy, and he got violent, and in the process, he hit my tummy, and I lost my baby then.
Her turning point would come years later, when her children were caught up in the turmoil of the toxic marriage.
Because I remember this time now in 2012 when we came and we found that the person is not there. My older daughter, she just told me, "Mom, this is enough. Let's not allow him back."
While she has endured the physical and emotional abuse, she now reflects on where she made a lapse in judgment and has learned her lessons from the painful journey.
You're looking for a partner, just look somebody who you have the same values. Because you get into a relationship, you find this person, we cannot reason together, you know, we cannot move together. Yes, and also just do your due diligence, get to understand this person, where they have come from.
But all love is not lost, as Jennifer is still open to the idea of love and marriage.
I believe in marriages, and I know there are good marriages. Marriages work.
Just like in many things, the topic of love and marriage has not been an easy path for those who choose to walk it. Thank you. But for many couples, they all seem to agree on one thing, that inevitable lessons are learned throughout the journey. Gena Kirori, NTV.
Oh, fantastic lessons there by Ngina Kirori. Thank you so much for that report, and especially coming at a time where people are sharing love and joy across the world. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Here we are, living in the moment. And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming.
Build your tomorrow today. Tononoka Group, at the core of every construction.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
With the Stay Soft refill, saving money is as easy as snip, pour, mix with water, and shake. Stay Soft refill. It's 2 liters of Stay Soft for up to 30% less.
Una vile wanashindwa kukata. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha, inanitosha, inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha Kenya. Inanitosha.
From your first day at school to you captaining your soccer team, no matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. That's why I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
I won't deny that just for a moment I thought that, well, it would be a good idea for my dad to be happy again next to someone.
So that woman can send you to a boarding school, huh, Fernanda? Would you like that? And then, I don't know, have other children with your father? Just imagine that. It means you'll have to share absolutely everything you have with those new children.
If you want to do her a favor, tell her not to meddle in other people's business, okay?
I could never dare to tell her that. I'd practically be giving myself away to her.
A lot of cane love. Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, flowers, chocolates and cards are some of the gifts that are exchanged on Valentine's Day as lovers show love and appreciation for each other. It is a day that flower farmers in the country look forward to as the country dominates the global flower market. Well, Ruth Sarmoi now tells us the journey of the Kenyan rose from the farm to your loved one's arms. Each morning, hundreds of workers stream into the over 200 flower farms across the country to tend to this precious commodity, whose customers are far beyond the Kenyan borders. Nini Flower Farms employs 1,100 people to work its 50-hectare rose farm grown exclusively for export. Long-stemmed roses are Kenya's specialty and a global favorite. Competition is stiff, but Kenya's flowers are said to control at least a third of the global market. The roses are transported to the market either by air or sea, and many buyers choose the sea route because it's cheaper.
The rose dip is meant to preserve the flowers before they get to the market, because sea freight takes longer than the air, and the sea shipment is around 30 to 35 days.
Demand for flowers is usually higher around Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, as many view flowers, especially roses, as symbols of affection.
Our customers value Valentine, and the demand was too high for us to meet.
The last 1 year, however, has been difficult for the industry. The COVID-19 pandemic hit farmers. With flights cancelled, restricted movement and no buyers, flowers withered and sold. The auction in Amsterdam was even forced to destroy millions of flowers.
When the COVID-19 started, when we came to realize that it's already in Kenya, we had to suffer because we had to go half pay. So we were working 15 days, then on leave, unpaid leave for 15 days. It really affected us and our families.
But as the global economy begins to pick itself up, 2021 is looking hopeful for the flower farmers as orders increase. The Fresh Produce Exporters Association of Kenya, FPIC, indicates that horticultural produce earned the country 151 billion shillings in 2020 compared to 144 billion in 2019. Floriculture alone accounts for 108 billion shillings. This is higher than the 104 billion that the flowers brought in 2019. Despite the good performance, the industry still faces numerous challenges, including restricted movement in a number of buyer countries. The government is being called to intervene by not only releasing the stimulus package finance to support exporters, but also postpone for 1 year the implementation of the Horticulture Crops Regulation of 2019 that imposes an export levy of 0.25% on all horticulture exports.
If you look at some of these floriculture farms, they are a self-contained kind of investment. They've got schools, they've got hospitals, they also feed their people. However, the government of Kenya is not felt. Look at accommodation. How do you expect to wake up tomorrow morning, 5:30 in the morning, to go to work, and yet you slept in a place where it's not comfortable? It doesn't add up.
The horticulture industry in its entirety employs 350,000 people directly, who in turn support over 6 million livelihoods. February is termed as the month of love, with a heavy inclination to romantic love. So much so that many have enjoyed the famous tune of Kabusa Oriental Choir, Valentine is Here. But here is my rendition. Valentine is here. Where is your loved one? I hope you are not alone. Lonely. Ruth Sarmui, NTV, Naivasha, Nakuru County. All right, thank you so much, Ruth Sarmui, for that. I think you picked the right career. I don't think singing is for you, but thank you so much for that. Let's pick up this conversation from where we left off last night. Is Valentine's Day much ado about nothing, or is it simply a day that puts money in the pockets of the enterprising? You heard from the gents last night. It's now the ladies' turn. They sat down with NTV's Dan Mwangi.
What is that one thing for you that you wish guys understood or knew about women that we simply just don't seem to get?
You guys think caring for us and pampering us is like a big deal, and you guys don't. It needs like to be pampered like babies, not like how babies are fragile. That's how we are. You're supposed to like gift us like every day. like every weekend, like going to new places. You guys don't understand. You think like it's too much, but yet you just want your quality time, and you guys just showing that unconditional love like each and every time.
So, so what would your ideal be?
Ideal?
Ideal situation that say you'll be dating someone.
Yeah.
What would your ideal be in terms of them expressing themselves to you?
Maybe we go and have a hangout, a vacation somewhere. Like, yeah, just me and you, like bonding.
Okay, so it's not so much about what the person is giving you materially, but...
It's not about materialistic things, about us like spending time together, understanding, and yeah, just bond time. Ladies
at times will say one thing, but mean another. Like she's saying, it's more about the bonding time, all those nice things, but you still want gifts.
I believe most women do say one thing and they mean another thing.
Thank you, you're on our team.
When it comes to men, I also think they always feel like women are all the same, which isn't the case. One woman might like flowers. Personally, I do not like flowers. The smell just disturbs me. The women who prefer dates, there are women who prefer just staying in the house. But picking something probably from a movie and saying, okay, so this is what my woman will like without not understanding her is one thing men mostly do.
Do you usually give unrealistic expectations to your significant other?
If you communicate these expectations very early in the relationship and you continue to communicate them and be consistent about it, then if they don't get it, it's really their problem now. That this is a personal problem of theirs because you have communicated how you feel.
But let me just interrupt you briefly. And you talk about communicating what you feel, but at times women communicate in like a reverse psychology way.
When I say that, it's not just for men, it's just even for women.
What is the most extraordinary or crazy thing that either you have done for someone in the name of love or has been done for you in the name of love?
I almost paid for my partner's school fees. I was this close.
So what stopped you?
Ironically, at the hour I was almost paying, I found out they have a new girlfriend.
Oh.
I almost left home for a guy. I went to elope with him. He was staying in Mombasa, so I had to save up for the whole transport. I go.
So what stopped you?
My mom.
Wow. Thank you, ladies.
Very interesting conversation there. I wish we had more time to actually air that. Dan Mwangi engaging the ladies on what they think about love and relationships, especially now during Valentine's. Well, let's take a quick break. We still have much more lined up for you. Stay with us.
Sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
All the days and the nights, reading for them and to them. You don't stop, and neither do we. Help build a strong foundation for your growing child with Nestle Nunkid. Nestle Nunkid 4. Our best for you.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
The Ministry of Health would like to remind all Kenyans that coronavirus is still among us and that we must continue to adhere to all preventative measures to contain the spread of this deadly disease, including proper wearing of face masks.
under your nose, under your chin, because this doesn't protect you. The droplets can still land in the environment and things can still land on your nose and mouth.
Komesha Corona. Okoa maisha.
I won't deny that just for a moment I thought that, well, it would be a good idea for my dad to be happy again next to someone.
So that woman can send you to a boarding school, huh, Fernanda? Would you like that? And then I don't know, have other children with your father? Just imagine that. It means you'll have to share absolutely everything you have with those new children.
If you want to do her a favor, tell her not to meddle in other people's business, okay?
I could never dare to tell her that. I'd practically be giving myself away to her.
A lot of K love. Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Thanks for staying with us. Years ago, farmers in Nyandarua were struggling with a burden in a blessing. Their farms yielded good produce, a lot of it, and sometimes too much of it. So much such that they were stuck with their rotting produce. Then in 2004, a solution was put up in the name of Midlands Limited, a multi-billion shilling crop processing plant. Farmers invested their hard-earned money and brought shares running into millions of shillings. But 16 years later, what was meant to turn around the farmers' fortunes turned them into lamenters. Melita Oletengas brings to us the voices of some of the farmers who are still pained by the sting of politics that brought down the farm.
When 93-year-old Samuel Mwangi got wind of a scheme to put up the Midlands Limited, a crop processing plant in Jabini, Kinangop, Nyandarua County, the news ignited a flame of hope, one he was willing to invest in with his hard-earned savings, and he did. But what the hopeful farmer thought would be a solid investment has proved to be chasing after the wind for the last 16 years.
Hiyo kazi sijui kama ni kufungwa ilifungwa au ni kufanya nini, sisi bado kufuata mapuno. Kwa hiyo na tulikuwa tunawanja kufanya hiyo na tukapewa mbegu ya kupanda, lakini mambo tena tukasikia inageuka.
The agro-processing and storage facility was meant to help farmers from the area and neighboring areas avoid post-harvest losses, which were quite a headache. Mzee Mwangi was among the farmers who bought shares in the company. They were issued with share certificates, and at the beginning, it was all rosy. The company was functional for 10 years, but politics of management set in, and slowly the fresh produce farmers watched their money disappear into thin air. 8 billion shillings worth of investment washed down the drain.
Chakula yetu inapotea kwa shamba, na sisi tunauliza ni nini hii kiganda na iko.
Since the year 2014, shareholders claim that there has been no communication to them as required by law. Yet a caretaker board allegedly not known to the farmers was instituted to run the dormant company.
That leadership has not called for a single annual general meeting. And that's why the farmers are complaining. They do not know what is happening.
The farmers who now feel shortchanged and say their efforts to have the matter settled in court have been under a dark cloud that doesn't seem to clear.
Tunasikia mambo ya watu ya kahawa, tunasikia watu ya majani, tunasikia watu ya masiwa. Hapa tuna masiwa lakini mradi wa viazi ukifaulu tutakuwa tumefaulu sote.
The politics that the farmers did not invest in has stolen their peace, livelihoods and returns. Now hope is their currency, much as it has dwindled over the years. Melita Oletengas, NTV.
All right, and we certainly hope something can be done to help the farmers. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be bringing you all the sporting action.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
I won't deny that just for a moment I thought that, well, it would be a good idea for my dad to be happy again next to someone. So that woman can send you to a boarding school, huh, Fernanda? Would you like that? And then I don't know, have other children with your father? Just imagine that. It means you'll have to share absolutely everything you have with those new children.
If you want to do her a favor, tell her not to meddle in other people's business, okay?
I could never dare to tell her that. I'd practically be giving myself away to her.
A lot of K in love. Gift your loved one a plot of value-added land at the Garden of Joy and get an instant 14K cash voucher for a 500K plus deposit. Call us today on 0790 300 300.
Some sporting action now. And 3,000-meter steeplechase world champion Beatrice Chepkoech today set a new women's 5-kilometer road world record in Monaco. Chepkoech, who is also the 3,000-meter world record holder, finished the Monaco run in 14 minutes 43 seconds. The 29-year-old battled windy conditions with assistance from male pacemaker Luke Mas to take a second off the previous. Ethiopian-born Dutch Sifan Hassan set the previous record in 2019. In the men's race, Kenyans Bethel Bergen and Davis Kiplangat settled for second and third behind Uganda's Joshua Cheptegei. Cheptegei, who is the 10,000-meter world champion on the track, won the men's race in 13 minutes and 14 seconds. He set the men's 5-kilometer record of 12 minutes and 51 seconds in Monaco last year. The 5-kilometer was recognized as a world record event in November 2017. And it was a Valentine's Day to forget for Gor Mahia after they suffered a 1-0 loss to Zambia's Napsa Stars in their CAF Confederation Cup playoff at the Nyayo National Stadium. Daniel Adoko scored the lone goal in the 86th minute. The goal gives Kogalo a mountain of task in the return leg, which is set for the 21st of this month. Gor is seeking a chance to play in the group stage of the competition, which could potentially earn the club a minimum of 27 million shillings. Gor is playing in the second-tier CAF competition after CR Belouizdad relegated the Kenyan champions from the Champions League. Gor Mahia's best performance in recent times in the competition was in 2018 when they reached the quarter-final stage, but were edged out by RS Berkane of Morocco, 7-1 on aggregate.
Tukirudi home itakuwa much different sababu tunacheza home. Hapa tulikuwa tunakuja kutafuta any positive result. Luckily tumepata zote. So I think to go in a better position than them.
And Posta Rangers is among the top flight clubs that progressed to the FKF Betway Cup round of 32. Rangers beat Arwara FC 3-0 today at the Rirungu Stadium to advance in the competition. Dennis Soalo, Ezekiel Okari and Jackson Duang scored a goal each to ensure a win for the Mailmen. In some select results, Sofapaka beat Kitale All-Stars 1-0, FC Leopards beat Tiki 6-0 as Bandari beat Muranga Seal 4-3 in a match decided by penalties after a 2-2 draw in regulation. And a record 48 drivers braved muddy conditions to compete in the second round of the National Autocross Championships at the Kasarani WRC Safari Rally racetrack in Nairobi. The opening round of the championship saw 42 drivers compete. The clerk of course, Anthony Gatay, noted that autocross has continued to attract drivers since the resumption of sports events in the country. The drivers among them Kenya Rally champion Baldev Chagar, series leader Kirit Rajput, Asad Khan, Hamza Anwar and Maxim Wahome took part in the 4 heats. And Bruno Fernandes scored a sensational volley for Manchester United to maintain their unbeaten away record, but they could not steal all 3 points against West Brom in a 1-1 draw. United fell behind when Mbaye Diagne noted West Brom ahead after just 83 seconds. Despite a sluggish first-half performance, it was another moment of magic from Fernandes in the 44th minute that held the visitors level as he fired home a powerful volley. United's unbeaten away run in the Premier League now stands at 19 games and they go back into second, 7 points behind leaders Manchester City. In their early kickoff, Wolves staged a second-half fight-back as Pedro Neto's sublime strike and a 2-1 win at Southampton. The result moves Wolves above Southampton into 12th place, with Ralph's side replacing them in the 13th with 29 points from 23 games.
Shaw, Bianca Varney and Bruno Fernandes comes up with an outstanding finish.
What a wonderful goal. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. And I hope you enjoyed your day, especially for those who subscribed to this Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed the love season. It has been love in the air and the men's conference. I understand there was a lot that was discussed. Probably my director, Arnold, will be telling me, because he told me he attended, so he'll be probably giving me some of the hints that they discussed there. That brings us to the end of our show. Our sign language interpreter this evening has been David Agondo. My name is Zainab Ismail. Have yourself a lovely night.
This is NTV.
Presenting the new Harpic bathroom cleaner. Compared to ordinary detergents, its thick formula